Medical Industries corporate headquarters in Lake Helen, Florida. Earlier tonight, we not only had the heavyweights tonight, but we had the lighter weights as well, and we had the U.S. middleweight title bout that we taped earlier. And a good fight it was, especially in the early going. But then Rick the Jet Roufus started to pull away from Leapin' Rich Lopez. And let's pick up that fight as we start round 7. Rick Roufus going for his 15th win over Rich Lopez, who had high hopes of picking off the man they call the Jet tonight, but it was not to be, and Rick Roufus had another great outing. And spinning back kick by Lopez missed the mark. Roufus has slowed just a bit here in the 7th round. The Jet looking for his 15th win. He's across with that overhand left. Boy, that thing really has velocity on it. Back-to-back kicks, both connected, but Lopez was heading in the right direction where he didn't get the full impact.
Sometimes we talk about how a fighter throws a kick to the head, and we say it in a very matter-of-fact kind of way. Watch when Roufus throws a kick to the head. His upper body does not lean at all. He stays completely perpendicular to the floor. Head completely upright. Just raises his leg up, snaps it to the guy's head just as easily as we would move our arms like that.
Big overhand left again by Roufus. That's been one of his most effective tools in this fight. There's a good left uppercut. Lopez trying to mix it up a little bit, but he's been pretty ineffective throughout. There's a good connection. Left round kick caught the right side of Lopez, and there's that overhand left. There's a spinning back fist. A little bit of everything. Smorgasbord time for Rick Roufus.
You know, Brad, that Roufus, he's got all kinds of tricks. He spins, he comes from nowhere.
Every direction. And he's never there when you are firing at him. He's never there.
You think he is until you overextend one of your kicks and find out you came up with nothing but air. Round 7 with less than 10 seconds to go, and Rick Roufus in command here in Lake Helen, Florida. And the Jet shows a little fancy footwork there defensively, just moving side to side as the round came to a close. 2 rounds or less remaining in this one. And Rick Roufus picked up the pace a little bit again in that 7th round. Rick's got a little mouse under the left eye on a Lopez right hand earlier in the fight, but other than that, eyes are very bright, seems rested. Let's check some of round 7 coming up here.
Rick Roufus, hand to the body, hand to the head, back leg round kick to the body, right punch to the head. Just everything so easy. Good timing there. Counter blows, defensive hand shot. Does not let Lopez get off.
Round 8. Rick Roufus on your right. Richard Lopez to the left in the white pants. And Lopez is going to have to go back to the drawing board unless he comes up with something here in the final 4 minutes of this fight.
Well, Brad, I never thought, first of all, the way the fight started at the first 3 rounds, never thought it was going to last 5 rounds. But, I mean, those kids, they're in shape. And they came to fight, and they want to prove to the people that they can stand up, even though they get hit pretty good.
Rick Roufus, I think, had the intentions of trying to take Lopez out, and his fighting style definitely showed that he was ready for a more aggressive opponent. Lopez is not being an aggressive opponent, and Rick is having a tendency now to fall back to his normal style where he doesn't really try to go in and just overpower a man.
Sometimes people don't realize that. If Roufus doesn't get the knockout, they'll wonder why. But Lopez, keep in mind, has been moving in a circle this whole fight, and it makes it harder. But now Rick's got the ring cut off a little bit and went to work in the neutral corner. And the blood starts to trickle under both eyes again on Richard Lopez.
Well, Joe, for a 20-year-old boy, I can tell you that he's got all the tools to become one of the greatest.
No question, no question. When he was 9 years old, and I've told this story before on television, when he was 9 years old, he came to me and I signed every picture that I'd ever been in every karate magazine for him. He had a scrapbook that weighed about 45 pounds then that had every karate personality's picture. And he said, Mr. Corley, I'm going to be the champion of the world. I said, I believe you. And 2 years ago, I introduced him to Jim Abernathy. I said, this young man will be the champion of the world.
Big connection there for Rick Roufus, and Lopez hung in tough. He's still standing. Final seconds, round 8. Lopez heads back to his corner. He is a tired fighter now, and if he wasn't, he certainly was after that big shot by Rick Roufus in the 8th round. Boom Boom Roufus has totally controlled this fight. I got to say, he's won probably every round. What do you think?
I have to say yes, without taking all the credit to Lopez. I think that Lopez came strong on a couple of rounds, but I really don't know. I mean, the way that Roufus is coming on to him again.
That's the defensive timing of Rick Roufus. Leaping Lopez, doing his leap, but Rick Roufus meeting him in midair, left fist to the head.
Straight left hand, and it's been probably the #1 tool in this fight for Rick Roufus, and there's another angle and another look at it.
The timing is critical. Now Lopez comes with a good counter there, catches Roufus on the chin, but you saw nothing behind the right hand.
There's the bell, and the two fighters touch gloves for the 9th and final round, and somebody in the corner yelled, "One more round, champ." And that, of course, is Rick Roufus, U.S. champion, and looking to keep that title here for the next couple minutes. He has to take on the challenge of Richard Lopez, who is quite aware, I'm sure, that he needs a knockout to win this fight.
You can even feel a difference in the crowd. The crowd in the beginning thought this was going to be a competitive fight, and Rich Lopez has just fallen more and more behind. Crowd does not sense that Rick Roufus has that much a challenge left any longer.
Again, credit Lopez for hanging in tough against some tremendous shots by Roufus, but other than that, he's been very, very ineffective offensively.
Like a football game, Brad, where the score is, 40-0, and the fans are filing out of the stadium.
I've been in a few of those.
With who?
Brad Nessler, the voice of the Atlanta Falcons, probably one of the top play-by-play guys in the United States.
Well,
no question.
You, Joe.
You got that right.
It's been a little better season this year for Atlanta. Here in Lake Helen, Florida, it's been quite a 9 rounds for Rick Roufus. And looking to pick up his 15th victory.
That was on the shoulder. Lopez got his head out of the way of that one in time, fortunately.
As a spinning back fist follows with a round kick and then brings up the right leg, all one motion.
Those combinations of Rick Roufus look so easy. Anybody in karate can tell you they're just sitting in their chair in awe saying, how did he do that?
Final 10 seconds of the 9th and final round, and Lopez trying to put on a little spurt here at the end, but it's way little and way late, and Roufus will win this one without a doubt. We've got an official decision yet to come. There's the bets all over. Rick Roufus, the Jet out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, lands here in Lake Helen, Florida tonight, and then takes off on Richard Lopez, and looks to be a very, very easy winner by unanimous decision in this 9-rounder. Rick Roufus in his corner, a little bit winded by that final 2 minutes, but other than that, he was in total command throughout the course of this fight. We'll take a break and come back with the official decision between Rick Roufus and Richard Lopez right after this word. Back on. Looks like he's won this fight. We're going to find out. Let's go to Larry Black, our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the decision. Judge Keeney scores the fight 82.5 to 90. Judge Willis scores the fight 83-90. Judge Lloyd scores the fight 89.5. Winner by unanimous decision and still champion, Rick the Jet Roufus.
Rick Roufus, never a doubt, unanimous winner over 9 rounds. And the judges saw it the same way we saw it. as Rick goes to 15-0. This is a decision, not a knockout, so he'll stay in there with the 6 KOs, puts the belt back around the Roufus sweatshirt, and he's going to talk with our Joe Corley in the ring. Joe?
Rick, the crowd thought this was going to be a pretty competitive fight in the first 3 rounds, but towards the end it felt like one of those football games. It gets to be about 55-0.
Well, we watched Rich fight and studied his tapes. Excuse me. We knew he was going to come out kicking. We took away his game plan there, which is his kicking. And I've been in a boxing gym working my skills, and we try to close his distance.
His kicks found, as Brad Nessler said, just empty air. Your distance was superb tonight.
Well, I credit that to all the point fighting I've been doing over the years since I was 5 years old.
You were working with Israel Acosta. You had another game plan in mind. You were supposed to fight Martin Friolet, who injured himself a week earlier. You looked like you were going to be more aggressive in the early part of the fight, but then you retreated a little bit.
Well, I backed off. I want to see what Rich could do. As you know, again, like you said earlier, I was supposed to fight Martin, and I did want to work on defense tonight a little bit.
Now, your objective in that Friolet fight was to fight for the North American light middleweight title. Light middleweight is going to be your division, and Bob Thurman, you've said, is your target.
Yes, I probably see us getting together with Johnny Davis, Martin Friolet, and then ending out with the dream being world light middleweight title against Bob Thunder Thurman.
Well, Rick the Jet Roufus, as always, a tremendous fighter. Brad, I don't think there's any question that when he gets in the ring with Bob Thurman, Thurman's going to have his hands full.
Indeed he will, Joe. What a